everyone. This recording will cover a couple things, and I also feel that I didn't really touch base last week, I guess because I didn't have anything to say. So I just wanted to get on here and do a quick recording for you. I'm trying to be fancy and do a split screen because I'm fancy. But when I go into PowerPoint, like to watch it, it ends up taking up the whole screen. So I'm not really going to do that, but I'll just show you. And I've been having trouble with this PowerPoint, but that's okay. So let me just show you what this recording will cover, and then I will just kind of go back and forth between this recording, or excuse me, this PowerPoint and Blackboard. So I'm going to talk for a few minutes about Thomas, the IEP assignment that's coming up. If you have already submitted it, no worries. I'm sure what you did is absolutely fine, but I've had a couple questions come up over email the last few days, so I thought others might have that same question. So I'm going to do just a couple little points about Thomas. Then I'm going to talk about the IEP activities that you already completed really quickly. I'm going to talk about the upcoming IEP project, and there is a new due date because if you look down here under transition, the conference has been rescheduled until mid-May. Remember I told y'all there was a conference that we were hopefully going to try to send some of you to either virtually or in person, getting some money from the graduate council here at FMU. But it's canceled, it's postponed until right around my birthday, by the way. So that means that I am going to remove that assignment, and it's called the Transition Conference Activity Due. I'm going to remove that, and I'll talk more about that in just a second. So because of that, I'm going to extend the IEP project that's coming up. I'm going to change the due date until October 22nd, okay? On the syllabus or on the calendar, it says October 15th. I'm going to give you an extra week for that project. All right, so let's talk about Thomas for a few minutes. So remember, Thomas is coming up. Again, if you have not done this yet, if you have not submitted, take what I'm saying to heart. And if you have submitted, no worries at all. It will be fine, okay? So remember on Blackboard, there is the Thomas case study recording. So again, it was from when it was 762, so just don't pay attention to that. But if you still have questions about Thomas, the recording is right here. And then you can find the assignment for Thomas right here under case study, okay? Thomas case study assignment. So just to touch base about Thomas quickly, you may pull info from his prior IEP. That's absolutely acceptable. That was one of the questions I had, because especially for this assignment, that's all you have, right? So in the real world, or when you're out there writing your own IEPs, you'll have observations, you'll have knowledge of your students. He or she won't just be this mythical Thomas that we don't really know too much about. And you'll have the past information, IEPs, etc., stuff like that. So for this assignment, it's absolutely fine to pull info from his prior IEP. Okay, so that was the first question. The second question I had was thinking about his goals. So remember, he's going into 10th grade, right, for the IEP that you will write, but he's not reading anywhere close to that. So do you think, and again, if you've already submitted it saying, oh yeah, he can be on 10th grade, it's fine. I'll deal with that. But if you have not submitted yet, do you really think it's feasible for someone with such significant delays and disabilities that Thomas has? Do you think he could grow from a 2nd grade reading level to a 10th grade reading level in 1 year? So think about that when you're writing his goals, for the IEP, for the assignment that you're doing. Is it feasible that he could grow from 2nd grade to 10th grade in 1 year? The answer, I'm going to give you a hint, is probably no, right? He's not going to go from 2nd grade to 10th grade. So you could put him on, his goal could be on a 3rd grade level or on a 4th grade level. 4th might be pushing it a little. But again, if you said 10th, if you already submitted it and you said 10th, that's fine. I'm just giving you, some pre-feedback, I guess. All right, and then this was another question I received. You can certainly kind of make some stuff up, right? So one person said, well, there's nothing for the South Carolina career cluster. There's no student interests and preferences, stuff like that. And again, this is the only information you have. Don't kill yourself to make these things up. But if, use your best judgment and think about, well, he might need some of these independent living skills. He might have an interest in this. We don't know, right? We don't know Thomas. We know him in 6 pages. That's it. That's how we know Thomas. So don't, don't again, don't kill yourself to try to come up with some of these things, because some of the stuff we just don't have. Okay, just do your best with Thomas, and we will go from there. So again, remember the assignment is under the case studies folder. Right, under assignments fall 2021, there's the recording for our friend Thomas, and then the assignment is under case studies. All right, so that's Thomas. All right, so next I want to talk about, don't do this to me. Okay, I've been having some issues, y'all, with the PowerPoint, but that's okay. So I think I just told y'all that. IEP activities that you already submitted, there were the 4 of them. I've been working through grading them. So far, y'all have done a really great job. I know the answers are in the back of the book. You know the answers are in the back of the book. The book knows, right? The book tells you, now check your progress. So I did just want to give you some practice, with some IEP writing uh, skills, I guess might be the word, or just writing, some parts of the IEP. I know for some of you it is brand new, and for some of you, you've been writing IEPs before, you've seen IEPs. And again, I know the answers were there. I hear you. I know they were there. So I'm debating maybe next year to make them optional. I don't really know, but I wanted you to be exposed to that content. So that's why I had you do those assignments. Okay, and again, this may not be what you have to do in the quote unquote real world. And I think especially one was IEP activity number 2, it asked you to write performance, assistance, task analysis, and generalization benchmarks. In every district that I've ever been, you didn't have to do, or I didn't have to do stuff like that. So this stuff was more just for kind of your practice, and but it also maybe helped you think about how you could break a goal down. You might not call it performance assistance, task analysis, and generalization, but those are things that you do want to think about when you are writing goals for your future students. And if you look on pages 67 through 70 in your textbook, gives you the nice little kind of steppy chart things. I think that's kind of handy, but that is just me. So you may want to see pages 67 to 70 in your IEP textbook. All right, so then what is next? So next, the IEP project is coming up. This is it's a little in depth. It might be a little overwhelming. I know Thomas is overwhelming. I hear y'all. I do. I promise. But I also want to make sure that you have exposure with writing IEPs. And, depending on where you end up, every district is a little different. So as you start, and I know some of you are really new in the program, but some of you might already be in schools, you might be working as a paraprofessional, you might be working with a special ed teacher, maybe start talking to some special ed teachers if that is not your current job, and ask them about their IEP process and what they use. I think the state uses something called Enrich, I think. I do not have access to Enrich, but some of you may. Even if you don't have your own classroom yet, maybe start making friends with some teachers who do have their own classrooms in Enrich, so that they could kind of help you with learning to write more in depth that I can cover, in a semester. They can help you write IEPs. So we do have an IEP project coming up as an assignment. There are a couple things. So since the transition conference has been postponed, and on the calendar, we initially had that we were going to, hold on, I'm pulling out my calendar, hopefully be at the conference. Since we're not, I will give you an extra week to do the IEP project. Okay, so the new due date is October 22nd, 2021. All right, on the calendar, it says transition conference currently with an arrow. So we're going to remove the transition conference because that's not happening, and I will give you an extra week to do this IEP project. All right, so you have until October 22nd. There's lots of new content posted on Blackboard about the IEP project. And let me be clear, all of the recordings that are posted are from either last year or the year before. And I do that not to be lazy again, but because, I kind of know the content. I know what I'm expecting. But I feel that if I record a new video, I'm going to forget something, or I'm not going to think to say something. So that's why I use the older recordings. If you see or hear anything that talks about lesson plans, that is not for you. You're not doing lesson plans this time in 759. Okay, that was when it was 762. So if it says, and I tried to remove it, but if it says anything, if any of the recordings or any of the text says anything about lesson plans, know that that's not for you. and know that the date is October 22nd. All right, so let me show you what's on Blackboard. All right, so first of all, if you go under our little homepage, I'll just start with content actually, and I'm gonna now go back to full screen on this. Okay, so if you go under content fall of 2021, there is a folder right here called IEP Project. All right, so, and first of all, there's this one too, helpful tips in writing IEPs from Dr. Nixon's class a few years ago. Remember, we talked about this a while ago, and I said, don't worry about it until now. So now you can use it if you want. You don't have to. It's just some stuff that I had from her, and I figured I would include it. Okay, so there's no official assignments that go with this folder. Okay, so it's just there for your reference. So right here is the IEP project, and what you're going to do. There's a PowerPoint that I reference in these videos down here, okay? But the actual PowerPoint itself is right here. I'm not going to pull it up because, again, my computer's being a little weird, so I'm not even going to go there. Okay, there's a document making the IEP connection and SMART goals, and I talk about those documents in these recordings, okay? So these recordings, IEP Project Part 1 and IEP Project Part 2, as I said, they are from a past year, but it has all the content that I want you to get. All right, so that's the first thing under the content tab. Okay, so ooh, hold on, where'd my little thingy go? Okay, so under the content, that's under content fall 2021, right there. All right, we'll come back to the assignments in 1 second. Then there's another tab over here called More IEPs. And this is just a PowerPoint I had done, I think, for one of my undergraduate classes. But if you're still struggling with the process, the IEP in general, there's some more information there. Feel free to print these out. If you want to print out anything, go ahead, do what you want. Then there's another one called Introduction to IEPs from Dr. Nixon's class. Here's another little folder thingy. And there's a bunch of different things here, IEP team, IEP template, getting the big picture, just some documents that might help you. Nothing specific that you have to do with this folder or anything, okay? And then just something, how to start an IEP meeting. You might want to check that out, especially those of you who are currently in IEP meetings. It's just a cute little, let me tell you about how great your kid is before we talk about all the struggles your child is having. And then the last one is writing appropriate IEPs. And this is a recording. This is not from me. I think this was also from Dr. Nixon. It actually might be. I might be lying to you about that. And then just some other documents. Again, nothing official that you have to do with this tab, or this tab. I just wanted to post them for your reference. All right. So I showed you the content, the IEP project, right? And then under the assignments fall 2021 tab, here is the IEP project, which is newly open for all of you. Just because there are so many of you, I would prefer if you worked in a small group for this, and it might make it a little easier for you. Remember, you can go to the discussions, and only a couple people have used this. If you want to work together, post your name and email here, and people can contact you that way. But so here is the IEP project, and watch those recordings first, okay, that I just showed you under content. What you're going to do is choose one case study tab. Toby, I tried to combine names apparently. Toby, Larry, Bill, James, Carter, or Chance. You will choose one, and then you will complete an IEP basically from scratch. So I know I'm running out of time per my normal. So you will do an IEP from scratch, right? So watch all those recordings that I posted first. You don't need to worry about objectives. Okay, I do want you to do goals. I want you to come up with about 3 goals. I think I said in one of the IEP projects, and just do the best you can, y'all. Do the best you can. Since I'm giving you an extra week, you may want to wait until after you submit Thomas, because I will post a recording about Thomas and kind of what I was looking for. So that might be helpful to you, which is also a good reason that why I'm giving you an extra week. All right, so that is all again under content and assignments. And let me go back super fast in 30 seconds or less for the last slide. So starting to talk about transition, we're kind of, as hard as it is to wrap up the IEP process, we're going to start moving towards transition in the next few weeks. We will not use the whole textbook, but what I will do, I have all the PowerPoints from the publisher. I'm going to go ahead and post all of those PowerPoints. You might want to print them out. You might use them, you might not. I will do some recordings for the chapters we will use. Again, the conference is postponed, so therefore no conference activity. I'm going to remove that assignment, and you will see that activity in 763 or 764. All right, I think that's about it. Remember, new due date 10/22.